All right, I think I'm back. I don't know what that was. I got a weird error. So hopefully I didn't lose all of you guys. It looks like I have 10 watchers, so it looks like some of you guys are back. Okay, sorry about that. It's I knew there was going to be some problem being my first stream. So all right, cool. We're back. So what was I talking about? I was talking about something. Let's get music going again. All right. Let's get my references back here. Hey Elizabeth, welcome. I'm drawing Goblin Slayer. So what's what about? I've been streaming for a little under an hour now, so I'm thinking I'll probably stream for maybe another hour. I don't know. We'll see how things go. I don't want to. If we're all having a good time and I'm close to finishing the drawing, we'll go a little bit longer. But I originally planned on about 2 hours for streaming. So even if you're late, you still got another hour to watch if you're into that sort of thing. Now, if you guys are enjoying this and want to see more, I was thinking about doing a stream on Tuesdays. I figured I was going to do about 2 streams a week. The first stream, doing stuff like this, where just kind of drawing whatever I have to get drawn, whether it's a commission or a comic book page or um, just something that's on my docket that needs to get drawn, so you guys can just watch me work. And then I was thinking on Tuesdays I would do a tutorial Tuesday thing where I'd let patrons kind of vote on what I would draw or do a tutorial on. I mean, and then just spend an hour or two just kind of demonstrating whatever the patrons voted for, like drawing hands or faces or what have you. So, so let me know in the chat or whatever comments. I don't know. Does I don't even know if Twitch has comments other than the live chat. Anyway, let me know if that's something you guys would be into, and we can make a week out of it. Do streaming twice a week and maybe teach you guys a thing or two that you want to know. I think that sword's looking pretty good. Yeah, or helmets. You're right. You could do a tutorial on helmets. My tutorial will be on, I don't know. Talking about the helmets and how usually they're character designs for manga or comics, even anime, because you have to draw the same characters so often, are usually very simple in design. Uh, so maybe to the creator of Goblin Slayer, this helmet is very easy for them to draw over and over and over again. Uh, because they created it, they know what it should look like. But that is not how Shono feels about it. Alright, I think that looks pretty good for the sword. Let's take a step back here. Let's take a look at it as a whole. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Elizabeth, doing the Make Comics Not Excuses segment on my blog. Writing just took so much time. I kind of got away from it. I'd like to get back to it, but I have a lot of things I need to get back to. I was looking at the last time a Shadows of Oblivion issue came out. That was 4 years ago. That's way too long. I need to get a new issue out. But life does not always want to cooperate with me. So hopefully issue number 4 will be out sometime this year. It's already written. I have 7 pages drawn, 6 pages are inked. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get that issue out before the end of the year. Hopefully way sooner. I'd like it out before summer, but we'll see how things go. Maybe that can be some of my stream. The stream will be Shono finally gets Shadows of Oblivion number 4 drawn. We'll do that every week. I think Goblin Slayer's hand is a little too big there. I think his sword's the right size, so... Let's see here. Let's see. So it's always good every now and again to kind of flip the negative for your drawing. Just often if there's any kind of major errors that's happening, they'll become blatantly obvious when you flip it around. Thankfully, this doesn't have any wildly glaring errors, except for the helmet. It's going to be my bane. comes up and around here. Babbled some embarrassing stuff. I'm assuming I haven't done that yet. I'm expecting myself to. It's hard to I don't know quite how streamers do this on such a regular basis and not just I don't know, have a panic attack. This is a little nerve-wracking having people watch. I mean, there's only 9 people right now, but it's 9 people more than usually watches me draw. So it's nerve-wracking. So I don't blame you one little bit. Let's see. All right. I think at this point I can start kind of figuring out how the lighting's going to work here. I still have a lot of detail. I got to put in the legs and the other arm and the helmet. But I think I might be able to skip some of the drawing, worrying about some of the detail if I start getting some of the lighting going on here. So regardless of how this helmet looks, I kind of want the light to kind of come in this direction here. So if I have that light coming here, the plate armor is going to kind of have the shadows kind of on this front side a little bit. Now, I don't want it coming from behind. I know this arrow might look like it's coming from behind, but it's more coming from above and from the left here. So most of the lighting's going to hit on top of things, and even though it hits on top of the head here, it's going to cast a shadow across the chest here and the neck. And for dramatic effect, we'll put it on his shoulders as well. You know, Elizabeth, if I was, if I had a cat or any kind of pet, I'd probably be talking to him too. I have every pet I've ever owned, I always talk to. Although I wouldn't say necessarily have a pet voice for them. I just talk to them like they're a person and I expect them to talk back to me. So I don't know which is more embarrassing. A cat having a pet voice is almost expected. To talk to a pet like they're actually going to respond is almost more embarrassing. Right. So let's get this other arm going here. So if I want to go really dramatic here, I might put this whole back arm in shadow too. But I think I'm making that form a little too said he was pretty skinny. Thanks, Slaying. Sorry, I'm sure I said your name wrong. I'm glad you're liking how Goblin Slayer is looking. Alright, I'm gonna just kind of put this in shadow and see how it goes. Well, the problem by putting his arm in shadow, I'm not quite sure how to handle the shield. If I have the whole shield in silhouette with his arm, it's going to look really weird. That's not going to make a really good silhouette. So what I think I might do is keep the arm in shadow for dramatic effect, and what I might end up doing is, let's see, maybe having the straps break up that shadow. Let's see, how does the straps even work? And then when I ink it, I think I'm going to put the use a screen tone on the shield, like a dark screen tone, so the shield will still have a dark tone to it, still look like it's in shadow, but it won't conflict. It won't create a weird silhouette with the arm itself. I think that's how I'm going to approach that. Let's see. All right, I'll just call you Sly. You talk to your pets, it's fine as long as they don't talk back. I guess that's a good way to think of it. I mean, if they are legit talking back, you gotta make that a routine. You can make a lot of money with a talking dog. People come all over for the talking dog. All right. Let's actually give this a save. I've been working a lot without saving. That's pretty dangerous. All right. So since I'm procrastinating on getting this helmet drawn, let's get the legs done, and then we can go back and I can cry while I try to draw the helmet again. Since the light's coming down from this top direction, I think, let's see, Izzy's kind of, does it come down here like that, with the arm that kind of sits on top like that, and his knees here. Well, since the lighting's kind of coming down here, I think I'm going to put the lower part of this calf in shadow, but I'm still probably going to draw a lot of these details, maybe not perfectly, but I want to make sure I get this silhouette to have the proper shape. So I'm probably going to still draw a lot of these details here just so the silhouette works. It's believable here. Looks like he's just wearing loafers. I was expecting like bigger boots for something that goes by Goblin Slayer. Let's see, very square. Yeah, it's true. You never want to risk having your computer freeze up. Let's see. So this kind of comes up and around. So now just kind of throw a shade over here. Let's give that a save, and my music stopped. So let's get that back rolling. Thanks, Big Fiji. I'm glad you're liking it. So now the real question is if I can get the helmet to look good, then I'm going to have a good Goblin Slayer piece of art here. If I can't get that helmet right, it's going to be an awfully big failure. So I'd hate this to be a failure. Now, those of you guys who are artists that are watching, I don't know if you guys do the same thing as me, but whenever I am procrastinating, doing something on the drawing that I kind of don't want to draw, I go in and I start adding details like shading or hatchings or stuff like that. So since I am dreading that helmet, seeing what other kind of details I can throw in here. You're right. I am postponing the inevitable. It's got to get done sooner or later. It's more of a less postponing the inevitable, but more building up my confidence. If I can get other parts of the drawing to look good and where to the point where I'm starting to feel real good about it, I'll have more confidence to tackle the the part I'm dreading. Believe I can achieve greatness. Or at the very least, if not greatness, draw the Goblin Slayer's helmet. Let's see. Alright, this is coming along. Center line. Let's see, is that shadow good? Alright. I think I'll get this other leg sketched, and then we'll worry about this cursed helmet. So this is my first stream. I'm sure a lot of you guys know. I have not invested in any kind of fancy equipment like microphones or cameras or lighting equipment. So I hope when I did my test recordings, it seems like my microphone picked up things all right. It didn't, obviously wasn't as fancy as a fancy microphone, but I hope it's doesn't sound too amateurish with the way that my mic is picking up myself and how my camera is showing me. I know it's pretty low res with me in the corner there, but it's hoping it's not too bad. It's at least tolerable. Oh, good audio quality. Okay, good. I'm sure if I did have a better mic, the quality would be better, but as long as there isn't like a huge echo and just kind of a grainy, tinny sound that's in some cases is fine and tolerable, but I'm sure you guys have all watched those YouTube videos where it just so that sound is just so tinny that it just grates on your ears. So I obviously I don't want that. So let's see. Right, so let's get. Oh man, I couldn't even imagine doing auditions for voice actors and getting those kind of audition tapes. I mean, I'm no expert in these things when it comes to voice acting or just any kind of using your voice as an instrument in any way, whether it's singing or acting or what have you. But I would imagine if you were serious about that stuff, you would understand how to get good audio quality from your biological instrument there. That sounds like a euphemism. Right. Let's see. Oh, I know exactly how you feel about wanting to pay people to help you create stuff. I feel the same way. I'd love to be able to uh, pay for like an inker or a colorist for comics to help take some of the burden off of creation and if not take a burden off to get the uh, at least the speed up for the production. Uh, but unfortunately, and I know you know this, being an indie creator, it's got to be all you or all volunteers, because there's no way when you're starting out you can, or even after you've started out for a while, but when you're in that indie sphere, it's money does not flow very easily. Oh, Manny Cutter, you got something for me again. It's really cool of you. It's the it's still actually I have the book sitting in a special place. I've bought two different frames for the book, and both of them don't fit. So I have to go get a third frame to get the book framed up. Uh, you wouldn't think it'd be that hard. You'd think a simple ruler could do the job, but apparently I can't draw helmets and I can't use rulers properly. So, all right, this is looking pretty good. I think. What do you guys think? I don't know if you guys were able to hear the clip that Norrin Rad used in his the song that was just playing the episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Picard was captured by the Cardassians and they kept asking him how many lights there were. That was one of my favorite episodes. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. All right. Square feet here. All right, I think it's time to return back to my Bane here. Let's get this helmet drawn. Let me save it first. Give me a second. I'm going to look up a couple more references because when in doubt, use some reference. All right. okay. I think I got this figured out now. So I found this reference here, and I was trying to draw the helmet completely round, but it just keeps getting wider at the top. Oh, okay. That crest goes all the way around. So that's going to help. I used to have a bad habit where I used to actually chew on the stylus. Uh, it was just a old habit I always had chewing on pencils, and so I would just chew on the stylus, and then my stylus broke. So then I broke that habit because I can't afford to buy new styluses very often. So all right, let's see. So this comes up, down. You know what? We're going to start completely from scratch here. All right, so the shoulders are here. Helmet comes around, comes out, so around, leads to the side part here, the faceplate curves like this. Another side plate kind of comes around like that. The side of his helmet sits here. It sticks out a little bit. Okay, comes up. Can you tell I've gotten serious? I've gotten all quiet and close to my tablet. All right, let's see. Well, it's definitely looking better. Hopefully you guys agree. Right. A crest here. It's still not quite right. Let's see. I think I'm once I get this helmet looking good, I think I'm gonna have to shrink it. I think his head's still way too big. But first, let's just get this helmet looking like Goblin Slayer's helmet, and then worry about the proper size. Chin here. Right. Nice. His head still might be a little too big. Let's zoom out in a sec. Let's compare. What do you guys think? Does that look like Goblin Slayer's helmet? That might have to be close enough, though, even if it's not. What are your guys' thoughts? Oops. I had to refresh the chat, so I don't know if you guys responded. Oh, there we go. That looks good. Love the pose. I feel like yours looks more pointed in the middle. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. More pointed in. Yeah, I see what you might be saying. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Here's another reference here. It's why I've been having such a hard time. because it looks like there's a little bit of a point there, and this is the other reference I was working with here. So, of course, now they're all, whoa. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? You know what? I think save your work. I will. All right, so this is what I think I'm going to do. Here, let's move these references back off the screen. I think I'm going to add just maybe a few more details into the sketch, kind of see how things go, how I feel about it as I'm working, probably make a few adjustments, and then probably in a couple minutes, probably going to switch over to inking here. I think that's the bottom line. That as long as I might not have to get this character to look exactly how it does in the manga or anime. It just needs to be recognizable. So when other people look at this, or you guys look at this, you know at a glance, hey, that's Goblin Slayer. So if I'm able to pull that off, even if the details in the helmet aren't exact, even if that is totally, without a doubt, Goblin Slayer. Let's see. All right. I think I might add some details as I go. But I think I'm ready to start inking this piece. Trying to see if there's any major details I forgot. Like any small ones I can probably add as I ink. I got his godforsaken helmet. I got his shoulder pads. Oh. Let's get this belt buckle right. Straps, clothing, straps, armor, knives, pouches. Can't forget the pouches. Can't disappoint Liefeld and forget the pouches. Shield. Yeah. Alright. Let's do this. Let's start inking. Oh, I was wondering what this extra layer I had here was. This is when I was initially doing the sketch. I had an arm I really liked, but I wanted a more dynamic pose. But I didn't want to lose this arm in case my more dynamic pose didn't work, so I isolated this arm. But we obviously went away from that, so we can delete that layer. Let's add our inking layer. And then we're going to change our sketch layer to blue. Now when I ink, I have this custom brush that I really like. I'm going to zoom way in so you can see the subtleties of it. So the brush, if I have a really light touch to it, it has this almost like a dry brush effect. And if I push really hard, you can see this really rough edge here. It kind of simulates paper that I might be working on if I was traditionally inking. So that's the brush I use when I ink. And it's really nice for getting kind of textures and cross hatchings. So, and I'm thinking with Goblin Slayer being kind of this medieval fantasy character, I think I'm going to be a little more on the rougher side with my inks. So let's go do that. I never like to start with the head when I ink because much like it doesn't matter if it's a Goblin Slayer head or just a normal character's face. I'm always nervous starting inking a face, even when it's digital. I'm always afraid that I'll mess up. So I always start with something simple like the torso or the legs. Actually, let's do the legs. Faces are your specialty. I like faces, don't get me wrong. I like drawing faces, but I'm always nervous inking. Whether it's traditional or digital, I kind of want to work up to it. I kind of want to get comfortable with the pen and the techniques that I'm using for a particular piece before I tackle the face. There's nothing worse than drawing the face. Having the face work, the ink quality not match the rest of the piece, whether it's because I use a different technique while inking the face than the body, or I'm just better at doing the face than the body, or whatever. like I said, when I'm thinking, since this is more of a fantasy medieval esque character, I don't think I'm gonna worry about getting perfectly clean, sharp inks, or like really good spot blacks. I think having a little bit of roughness and incompleteness in the lines, I think, is going to add a nice texture to the piece. I love doing this part when I'm inking. It's after I get a piece done, just kind of delete, or not delete, but make the sketch layer invisible, and then just kind of see what's looking good and not looking so good. Might go back in and adds a little bit of texture, or uh, make some cuts into the line work. That's okay for now. I'm going to approach this. Well, since Goblin Slayer here has a lot of kind of like dents and chinks in his armor here, I think doing a lot of hatchings are going to really add to the piece. All right. Don't really like how I did the hatching down here. It looks a little bit better. There. All right. So we're getting close to the 2-hour mark, and I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys want to keep on watching me? You want me to go for another half hour to an hour? Uh, do you guys get the gist of it? You want to see me try to finish this, at least the inking? How are you guys feeling? Yeah, I had a feeling that you guys were going to say something like that. Well, let's go. Let's go to at least. Well, don't feel bad if you gotta go. Whenever assuming I didn't mess up my settings here, uh, this should be available for replay after, and it should upload to my YouTube channel as well. So, so in the future, if either you either can't make a stream or you have to leave early or you come way late, uh, parts of the stream should stay available. Well, the whole stream should be available. I think with Twitch, it's available for a week after initial broadcast, and then uh, on YouTube it'll just be there until forever, until I decide to take it down. If I decide to ever take it down. So in the future, if that ever happens, you want to catch a stream but you can't because of scheduling conflicts, you can always watch it on the replay. And then, especially if I definitely didn't mess up, what I want to do is take the recordings of these and then do like a fast, almost like a time lapse of it. Obviously, there won't be any audio, but if you want to, if I do like say a tutorial, or you just want to see me do a drawing like I've done here, but you don't want to sit around 2 hours to watch me do it, the time lapse version of 2 to 3 hours. So that's that's if everything goes the way I want it to. Oh, got an error again. Let's see if this helps. All right, I think this is coming out pretty good. You have a good week too. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to draw for just a little bit more, maybe another 15 minutes. Um, and then I think I am going to call it quits for today. I got to get ready for some stuff. Got some Dungeons and Dragons happening later today. So I got to get the apartment ready for them. Let's see. One thing I really like about working with working digitally with inks is that if I ever feel like my inks are a little too heavy-handed in any places, it's really easy to kind of come back in and just kind of thin them out a little bit. And go back in and make them thicker if I have to. It's a nice little bit of freedom. That you don't really get with traditional inks. I lost my music again. Let's save. Where did my music go? Thanks. The software I'm using here is called Clip Studio Paint. It used to be called Manga Studio. It is made to make comics more than anything else, but it has a wide range of different kind of illustration tools, different kinds of pens, brushes. Since we have about give or take about 10 more minutes before we finish, I'll show you a couple things that I'll end up doing that I probably won't have time to do before the end of this stream. So one of that is for added texture. You've seen me do a bunch of like cross hatchings. I really I love this brush because I can do really light hatchings if I zoom in here. And the texture of the brush really allows for like scratches and just generally really good texture to come in with the inks. But what I'll do eventually, once all the work is inked, I have another brush that I really love. Those of you guys who know the comic artist Sean Murphy, or Sean Gordon Murphy, when he inks his work, not only does he have a lot of cross hatchings like how I like to put in, but you'll also see his fingerprints put in the piece. So what I'll probably end up doing with this piece to get that gritty feel that this manga has is I have, if you see where my it says round opaque brush, above it I have a fingerprint. And so what I'll do, I always do this on a different layer, never do on the same layer. But I can throw in a fingerprint here or there for some added texture to the piece, a little extra grit. So that always gives a little extra texture to the piece. And then once all the line art is done, all the textures are done, because this is originally a manga and I'm a sucker for black and white artwork, I'm going to put in some screen tones. So what I'll do here is I'll end up lassoing a certain section that I want to have a certain tone. I'm doing this very fast. I would take a little bit more care in my selections here. And I go in here and we have all these basic tones, different dot patterns and line patterns, what have you. So I'll take a tone and I'll just drag it right in here. We'll have that tone. And the cool thing that this software lets you do is if I drop in the tone and I realize I don't really like that pattern, I can make the dot pattern larger. So if I want to have bigger dots, I can do that. Really big dots. really tiny dots, or if I don't like dots at all, I can change it to lines or crisscross, or let's make it a little bit bigger here. Make it crisscross, and there's even like little patterns that I can make it like a noise pattern if I want it to be a little more grainy. But I can even make it like heart shapes. Now, of course, when it's like heart shapes, when you zoom all the way out here, you don't really notice that it's a heart shape, but it's still kind of a cool little thing. So those are the steps I'm going to take after everything gets inked. Helps if I'm on the right layer. Whoops. Helps if I'm on the right brush. Now there are a lot of tools that you can use, and I'm just showing you kind of like the basic line art black and white tools. If we can do all sorts of things. Maybe in a future stream we can do like like a Clip Studio Paint basics, or go through the different tools of Clip Studio Paint, and we can, for either beginners or just people who are interested to see how it works. And I can show you all the different things this software can do, from like the different rulers and the perspective tools and the comic panel tools and the color, all the different coloring tools available. So that's something you guys will be interested in. We can definitely do that. All right. I think that is enough for today. I'm going to have to finish this a little bit later. Definitely before the end of the month, since this is a reward for patrons. Um, Shameless plug: if you want to see this finished version, you can join the silver tier on my Patreon. Um, uh, but I want to thank everyone for joining me on my first stream. Let me turn off this music here. So, yeah, thanks for joining me on this first stream. This is, I was a little bit nervous. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, I had fun, despite my nerves. So I think I want to do this more often. I think I want to do it twice a week. Um, Tuesdays, I'm going to try to do a tutorial. Um, I'll probably do that in the evening, probably around 8:30 in the evening, Eastern time. And then like Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, I'll probably do something like this where I'm just gonna draw something. You can just watch me draw. Um, for Tutorial Tuesday, I'm gonna put a poll up on my Patreon, so patrons can vote on what tutorial I do next week. I'm not quite sure what options I'll do. I'll probably do some basic stuff like maybe hands or faces and basic perspective or what have you. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys follow me on different kind of social media. So just stay tuned with that. I'll let you know the exact when and wheres. I'll probably make it a habit to do like a 15-minute notice. I'll just post. I'm saying a lot. And yeah, I thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I had fun. I hope you had fun. And I want to make this a habit. So if you guys will come watch me, I'll keep posting and keep on streaming. So, yeah. I should come up with an official closing. But until then, thanks, guys. And I'll talk to you guys early next week. All right. Bye, everyone.